Anybody threaten you or coerce you in any way?
Kind of.
Okay, what do you mean, kinda?
I don't want to go to jail again, Your Honor.
Okay, but did somebody threaten you to plead?
Yeah, with jail time, Your Honor.
Okay, but who did that?
Well, technically, you, Your Honor.
So here's what I'll do. I'll pass it. Don't talk to Ann.
This defendant went head-to-head with Judge Simpson live in court, and things took a crazy turn out of nowhere. First, the hearing was actually going pretty smoothly. But then this guy decided to open his mouth and accuse Judge Simpson of threatening him. Now, last time I checked, a judge explaining the consequences of your actions isn't a threat. It's literally how the court system works. But the moment he said that, you could feel the entire tone of the courtroom shift. Instead of helping his situation, he basically put himself directly in the judge's crosshairs. And trust me, this one gets wild because the hearing takes a completely unexpected twist at the end. So let's dive in and see how Judge Simpson handles a defendant who decides to start playing games in the courtroom.
Mr. Hampton has entered into an agreement with the people, and would like to enter that into the record. Your Honor, is it possible to enter into both today, to address both cases today on the record?
That file is not in the courtroom.
Oh, okay, got it.
But I can give you the building that you answered.
Oh, sorry.
But I don't believe it's.
What? Okay.
Talking about bond, that's
All right, we'll just address this case today.
He's going to enter a plea in another case that's set for prelim.
Yes, yeah. So case 24F55262, just because of the timing with the mental health treatment court evaluation, that one was set for preliminary examination before the evaluation was complete, and that is currently set for exam.
So over there is Ann, right?
Yes.
You know Ann?
Yes.
Okay, so if you had this, that may work out where we could like get rid of two cases and he could plead. I may or may not do it, but usually just go over and ask Ann. Because you asked me on the record, I'll probably say no, because I don't do the filing, so I don't know where it is.
Understood, yes. So I will...
So would you like to do that today?
I would like to.
So here's what I'll do. I'll pass it. Don't talk to Ann.
Thank you very much, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
Your Honor, sorry. Ashley Bashir on behalf of Mr. Hampton. And in addition to addressing the case directly, we would like to address bond and request that a condition, specifically the home confinement tether, be reconsidered.
Okay, I'll get to that maybe at some point.
Great, thank you, yeah.
Right now, I'm trying to get these pleas done.
Thank you.
So my understanding is he's going to plead to count, in case ending in 1596, he's going to plead to count 2.
Yes.
Correct? With count 1 being dismissed. That's going to be a guilty plea. Correct, counsel?
Yes.
All right. Then on the other matter, I have a plea form that indicates that the defendant will be pleading guilty to an added count 2 of attempted resisting and obstructing the 1-year offense. Upon a successful plea to that charge, count 1, the resisting and obstructing, would be dismissed. And there is an agreement that the defendant is to go to mental health court. That's the court's full understanding of the agreement.
That's right.
May I have the defendant's one?
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yep.
State your name.
Brandon Hampton.
All right.
And man, it is this court's understanding that you're going to be pleading guilty to 2 misdemeanor offenses. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. The first one, in the case ending in 1596, is the charge of aggravated assault. That is a misdemeanor punishable by up to 1 year incarceration and a $1,000 fine plus court costs. You understand that?
Mm-hmm.
Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. You also understand in that case that while I'm taking your plea, I would not be your sentencing judge, and you would be sentenced before Judge Barr in the 14A2 District Court. You understand that?
Yeah.
Okay. And understanding that on that case, do you still wish to plead guilty?
Yes.
All right. On the other case, it says court's understanding you're going to plead guilty to the charge of attempted resisting and obstructing a police officer. That's a misdemeanor punishable by up to 1 year incarceration or $1,000 fine plus court costs. Do you understand that?
Yes.
You understand also that while I'm taking your plea, I would not be your sentencing judge, and you would be sentenced before Judge Valvo in the 15th District Court. You understand that?
Why are the judges different, Your Honor?
Why are the judges different? Because these allegedly occurred in two separate places. The case that we were just talking about with Judge Valvo, the offense took place in the city of Ann Arbor. And the other case happened in maybe the city of Ypsilanti or, yes, in Ypsi City of Ypsilanti. I'm sorry, Ann Arbor Township. Okay, so they occurred in two separate jurisdictions. Okay, that's why you have two separate judges. But what's going to happen, I think this is probably really the crux of your question. You're going to go to mental health court on these, right?
Yeah.
So Judge Valvo is actually in charge of mental health court. So when that case goes over to her, that will be where it is. You'll have to go before Judge Barr. Judge Barr will do the initial part of the sentencing and then place you on probation to be supervised by the mental health court. Follow that? So it's just a little bit of a process. Both cases, it's anticipated, are going to end up in the same spot. Okay. You got that? Any other questions on that?
I guess it's not like possible for the other case just to go to Valvo as well?
It will get there. It just can't go directly that way.
Okay.
Okay?
For sure.
Anything else? Trust me, we do this all the time. It'll get there. So it'll catch right up to it, okay? All right. Any other questions you have?
Just the one about bond. But
yeah, we'll get to that in a moment. All right. So understanding all of that, you still wish to plead guilty to these charges?
yeah.
Okay. So to the charge of aggravated assault, how do you plead?
Guilty.
To the charge of attempted resisting and obstructing, how do you plead?
Guilty.
Now, you understand that by pleading guilty, you will not have a trial of any kind.
Yeah.
All right. You signed an advice of rights form, correct?
Yeah.
Do you have any questions regarding any of those rights?
No.
All right. You see a copy on the podium. Look at paragraph 5. Those are your rights which are part of a trial. You understand that by pleading guilty, you'll be giving up those rights as well as all the rights on that form.
Yes, Your Honor.
You understand you're giving up your right to appeal of right.
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you on probation or parole?
Yes.
All right. Were you on probation at the time of these offenses?
No.
All right. Has anybody promised you anything other than what's been stated here today on the record to get you to plead to these charges?
No.
All right. Anybody threaten you or coerce you in any way?
Kind of.
Okay, what do you mean, kinda?
I don't want to go to jail again, Your Honor.
Okay, but did somebody threaten you to plead?
Yeah, with jail time, Your Honor.
Okay, but who did that?
Well, technically, you, Your Honor.
He was actually doing pretty well right up until that moment, because when he said the judge was threatening him, everything just went off the rails. I honestly can't tell if he was trying to mock Judge Simpson or if he genuinely believes that explaining the consequences of a violation is somehow a threat, but that's literally how the legal system works. Judges explain what can happen if you don't follow court orders. Jail isn't a threat, it's a consequence, and the way he said it made the whole situation even worse. Instead of showing accountability, he suddenly started acting like he was the victim. The crazy part is that he had already pleaded guilty. At that point, trying to argue about the judge explaining the consequences just makes it look like he's backtracking. If anything, comments like that can make negotiations or plea deals a lot harder because it signals to the court that the defendant isn't taking the situation seriously. So, what do you guys think? Was he just running his mouth without thinking, or does he actually believe the judge was threatening him? Let's jump back in and see how Judge Simpson reacts.
Oh,
Mr. Hampton,
tell you what. Why don't we pass the matter? Maybe you can talk to him and we'll give this another shot today if we're comfortable with it. Otherwise, the court may not be comfortable with it, and we might just blow all of this up and it'll just have to happen another way.
thank you.
But I'll give you a chance to talk.
That was actually a really patient response from Judge Simpson. He explained it in such a calm way, almost like he was breaking it down step by step, so there was no confusion about how the law works to this point. Though, the big question is whether the defendant is finally going to understand what the judge is telling him, or if he's about to double down on the same argument, because moments like this can go one of two ways. Either the person realizes they're digging themselves into a deeper hole and starts listening, or they keep pushing back and make their situation even worse. And if he keeps pushing back, we might be watching a real-time example of how someone can make their own case harder in court. What do you guys think? Is he finally going to wake up and understand what the judge is saying, or is he about to keep arguing? Let's dive back in and see what happens next.
Back on the record in the case of the People versus Hampton, we're in the middle of taking a plea. And so I stated the terms on the record. And Mr. Hampton, I'm going to ask you a couple questions again.
Okay.
Has anybody promised you anything other than what's been stated here today on the record to get you to plead to these charges?
No.
Has anybody threatened you or coerced you in any way to get you to plead?
No.
You're doing this voluntarily?
Yes.
Of your own free will?
Yes.
And because you believe that you're guilty of these offenses?
Yes.
All right. We'll start with case 1596. Paperwork. So, okay, Mr. Hampton, on the date of August 29, 2024, at Washtenaw Community College in Ann Arbor Township, Washtenaw County, State of Michigan, do you recall what happened on that date regarding a Vladimir, is it Parahorov?
I don't know, Your Honor.
All right, did you get into a fight with somebody?
Oh, I know what happened. I don't know what his name is. It sounded like...
Okay, why don't you tell me what happened then?
Oh, I was trying to take a shower, Your Honor.
Okay, and then what occurred?
When I was in the locker room, he had pushed me up against the wall, hit me in my head, and threw me on the ground. And then broke in my property.
Okay, but before that, did you do anything before that?
No.
Okay.
It wasn't until there were 4 people on top of me and I was fearing for my life that I did him wrong.
Okay, so here's what I'll do.
You can literally see the exact moment his chances start slipping away. He probably could have walked out of this hearing with a small sentence, maybe even just a fine. But instead, he kept talking and turned a manageable situation into something much worse. Judges tend to have very little patience when it feels like someone is wasting the court's time or refusing to take the process seriously. And right now, that's exactly how this situation is starting to look. What makes it even stranger is that he already accepted the plea, but now he's acting like he wants to argue the whole thing again. That kind of back and forth usually doesn't help anyone's case. Moments like this are how a situation that could have been a warning or a light consequence suddenly turns into a much bigger problem. What do you guys think so far? Did he just seal his own fate here? Or do you think there's still a chance he turns this around? Let's jump back in and see what happens next.
Counsel, go because I can see the way that this plea's going, it's not gonna work. So, if you guys want to change, I'm not suggesting you guys want to change things to a no contest. If you want to do whatever, what I will do is, I'm back up at 1. I'll call it back up at 1. I think everybody's still going to be here. So, and give you a chance to talk with them, decide whether or not you want to do no contest, please. Explain what a no contest, go through all of that with them, and then see if we can get this done.
Thank you very, very much, Your Honor. Appreciate it. Thank you.
This is a prime example for me of no good deed goes unpunished. All right, so we'll call it back up at that point. Quarter past these matters again. All right.
We actually, based on the most recent conversation with my client, I will actually seek to adjourn this case for to further advise my client on the offer.
All right.
For the shortest adjournment possible.
February 13th. Both matters.
Thank you very much, Your Honor.
Well, that's true. What are we doing with, well, what is the exam set?
Tuesday, for me.
Yes, so apologies. We can see, I'd be happy to stip to adjourn that, the exam or the other case.
Well, you're gonna need a step on the exam.
Yes.
But I only took it because there was gonna be a plea. When do you want the other one adjourned to?
When is the soonest?
I'll set this, I'll adjourn the
After the
1596. I'll adjourn 1596 to February 6th. The other one is stay on track for a preliminary examination. I understand that people are not going to have the witnesses available, or you need a stipulation to adjourn that out.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I honestly don't understand why this guy accepted the plea deal if he clearly didn't want it in the first place. He literally had an easier way out right in front of him and somehow managed to throw it away. Instead of walking away with a lighter sentence, he ended up risking months of extra jail time just by arguing and pushing back in court. IT wasn't even a strong argument either. It mostly came across as talking back and being a little smug about the whole situation, which is never a good move when you're standing in front of a judge. But I do think Judge Simpson handled this situation really well, though. A lot of judges might have lost their patience and shut the whole thing down immediately. But he actually took the time to explain everything clearly and gave the defendant multiple chances to understand what was happening. A some point, though, there's only so much a judge can do. If someone keeps pushing in the wrong direction, eventually they have to deal with the consequences of their own choices. And that's pretty much what happened here. But I'm curious what you guys think about this hearing. Do you think Judge Simpson handled it fairly? Or would you have done something differently if you enjoyed this breakdown? Make sure to like and subscribe for more videos like this. I post new content every day with cases just like this one. Thanks so much for watching and for all the support. I'll see you guys in the next video.